Hey, so I'm bored, so I'm just gonna record a casual video again. And this time I want to talk about the people that are in my author jail. If you don't know what an author jail is, I don't even think that's a real concept. If I just made that up, you can use it, I don't care. I probably didn't make it up. I probably heard it somewhere. But yeah, these are the authors that I read one or more books from that I really disliked for some other reason, or that are just personally so offensive to me that I don't want to read from them again. And it's not just oh, your book was mediocre, I'm not going to read from you again. This was I hated your book and I don't like you. You're in author jail and I'm not going to read from you again. This is the offensive ones, okay? But before we start this, I should probably discount there's probably levels to this. I don't want to make an official list of oh my god, this is inmate in row number 1. They can't get out if there is a book with a fantastic premise. Because there are these kinds of people. I probably wouldn't read from a bunch of authors that have disappointed me before, but if there's a book with a fantastic premise, I'm probably gonna pick it up. And there's probably a row 2 where I'm no, not really. But if I get gifted from it, I also won't burn the book. I'd never burn a book. That was just a phrase, but yeah. And then there's probably the life sentence inmates that would never, never, ever would I ever read anything from you again. I won't do that kind of system now, but let's just say that the author jail in general is kind of a nebulous system. But if I get to the people, I will tell you if they will ever get out or not. So anyway, I think we should just start with a well-known example of a book I am so much of a hater of, and an author that is a lifelong inmate in author jail. That guy never gets out. And it is Jason Rekulak, and the crime he committed is the book Hidden Pictures. Hate it. That book is so transphobic. And if you can get over the transphobia, which is why would you get over transphobia? Please, human rights and everything. It's also just a bad book in and of itself. The writing is so basic. The horror is everything you've already seen before. And it's also really kind of mean to alcoholic people. Alcoholism is a struggle. It's an addiction. It's people should get help for that. And no, that book is just mean. And so I really hated that. Jason Rekulak, I think he wrote one other book. I think it wasn't received that well. And I wish you well in hell. No, that guy will never get out. I probably should say here that I don't wish ill on any of these people. I just really didn't like their work. And then we have one very, very recent acquisition to the author jail, and that is one Philip Fracassi. He's new in there, and it actually hurts me because the premises of his books always sound really cool. I was considering putting him in there last year when I read Boys in the Valley, and it was really mediocre, not what I expected at all. And then I was no, I'm gonna pick something else up from him because his premises sound so good. He's genuinely on a Nick Cutter level, where I really want to read all of his books, but he has always disappointed me at the moment. Also, just so you know, Nick Cutter is not on this list because one of his books is actively still in my TBR, so I have to read that before I can finally put him in author jail. But if Little Heaven was not on my TBR, that guy, straight to author jail. No. Philip Fracassi, so his books sound really up my alley, but Boys in the Valley was so mediocre, I probably would dislike it even more now. And then Sokolina was worse. I just didn't like that also. So he's in author jail. He's not in the level of Jason Rekulak. I probably would read from him again if there was an amazing premise, or if I found a book from him for very cheap. If I got one gifted, I wouldn't say no. But buying a full price book from him, not at the moment. He's for that, he's in author jail. This one is a very popular author that is in my author jail, and it is Riley Sager. What's the crime he committed, you ask? It's Home Before Dark. So, Mr. Riley Sager, I put that book on my TBR when I was still into thrillers, and even back then, most of his books didn't sound for me, except for Home Before Dark. And when I read it, Home Before Dark was not good. That was like 1.5 years ago, and I barely remember it. But that book like has a lot of like cheap fake out twists. I think, like, don't quote me on it. It's been a long time, and I have the attention span of like a bird and not a smart bird. So yeah, that was I couldn't stand the characters. The end reveal was horrid. Couldn't stand it. So yeah, and given that was like the only book that like halfway intrigued me from him, and all the other books, like his stuff seems to generally not be as loved anymore as it once was. And given that I like literally disliked his seemingly most acclaimed work, because I think most of the people like Home Before Dark, I am definitely not going to pick up anything else from him. So yeah, he's in author jail. Still not on the level of a Chase and Rekulak though, but also probably worse than Philip Fracassi. I just am not able to think that he will write something that like could appeal to me in any way. So yeah, he's probably a permanent stay, but not like a malicious permanent stay. You probably don't know this person, but in my author jail, and now finally on the level of Jason Rekulak, is Tanaka Ogeretsu, who wrote Yarichin Bitch Club. I only read one volume, and it was so offensive. And also, I read the German version, and that one is actually less offensive because the language is censored. Because in the German version, they refer to the act that they intimidate the person into doing stuff with, or else it will happen, as a certain group intimacy activity. But then I read the English version too, after I heard something about it. And in the English version, it's not a group intimacy activity, it's literally our word. So now I have even less of a good opinion, as much as a glaring one-star book can be a good opinion of the book. I will not continue in the series. I am judging my best friend for watching the show just because she was curious and not trusting my moral judgment of these people. That like, it was horrible. And yeah, you're literally like stereotyping gay people in that way. Like, I kind of think you're on the level of a Chase and Rekulak, Tanaka Ogeretsu. Like, nothing against you personally, but malicious permanent stay. Another person you probably won't know anything about is a guy I had to read for German class. He's called Dirk Kurbjuweit, and the crime he committed is called Twins. This is the worst book I have ever read. As much as so many books, especially like this year, try to come close to it, like Faust, Nick the Drunkard, that one self-help book that I read that I haven't even told anyone about yet because that would be too boring for YouTube, and it was horrible. Twins will forever be the worst book that I have read. It is amazingly terrible. And if you don't believe me, look up the Goodreads reviews, like translate them from German to English. There's also a bunch of English ones in there. It is horrid. A horrid portrayal of anything it tries to do. The portrayal of the materials we got for the book calls it bisexuality, but I just think it's like a weird psychosexual gay obsession that really paints gay people in a negative way. But the author doesn't even acknowledge that he's gay, which just makes me think that he's either in complete denial or a idiot who didn't even know what he wrote. Glaring 1 star. That guy, malicious permanent stay, never reading anything else from him. If I have to read another book from him for German class, for any school class, for like if a book like that comes across to me, like across my way in the wild, I'm running. I am running. And I'm screaming, and I'm crying, and I'm calling an airstrike. Ew. Most malicious permanent stay. Worse than Chase and Rekulak, worse than Tanaka Ogeretsu. Absolutely hate the guy. Also, in this case, I even like have a personal reason to actually dislike the author, because in the process of analyzing that book for German class, we had to read a bunch of author interviews. And those just make me think even less of him than the actual work even did. Because he's a moron. He doesn't even know what he's written and how bad it is. So, like, hate all these books that the German like government or like probably the German government just gives these funds to some nut authors that write these weird and disturbing books that are given to ninth graders, to 10th graders, to 8th graders in German class, and I have like these weird, disturbing things in them. And not that I say that children can't read disturbing things, but that's the same school system that lets us read these books and then turns around and says, "Oh, they're all like getting all like emotional about all these violent video games and how they're corrupting the youth." And I'm like, then why are you letting us read those books? Like they're terrible, and the stuff that's in there is also like horrible, and like everyone is probably like able to dissociate from a video game, but these books are terrible. Like, oh, I could go on and rant so much about this, but like, no. Hate him. One is like totally also my author jail is Clay McLeod Chapman. The crime is called Wake Up and Open Your Eyes, I think. I was like a new release last year. Nobody likes it. I didn't either. I think I don't know. That book probably, I don't want to defend it because like if I hate on it, the fans are gonna say, "Oh, you're Trumpy." I'm not Trumpy. I'm a leftist. But that book is so apologetic of like liberals. Like, okay, can we just say that book is too, like, I'm too woke for that book? I thought it was really apologetic of liberals and had like the philosophy of, oh, we gotta keep the family together, and like, no, cut the people off, cut them off. If you would have cut him off, you would not be in that disaster. The second part is literally we have Last of Us at home, and the fact that it's now advertised as like Last of Us is so crazy because I am not even the biggest fan of The Last of Us, but the fact that The Last of Us is a masterpiece in storytelling against that book is like, ugh. No, yeah, not gonna read anything else by that guy. He could come out with like a amazingly like cool book, and maybe I'd pick it up. But the fact that also like his premises have never like been for me, not even Wake Up and Open Your Eyes itself, I really didn't want to pick that up because I already thought I would think about it this way, and the fact that I did just like reassured me in that thought, and I just like got it for like a birthday or something. So I kind of want to do the person that gave it to me a favor. So just like that I had even tried it, and I finished it. I freaking hated it. So yeah, I don't know. Author trail. Just because I mentioned Faust earlier, Goethe is also in my author trail. I don't care if he's a classic author of German literature. I don't like anything by him. And we have read 2 works. Yeah, Maria Stuart is also by him, I think. I don't like him. I really don't. I don't care how much he was influential in literature. I just think Faust is fucking weird. Not even just fucking weird, fucking creepy. Like, she's 14. I don't care if he's an icon to so many people. It's bad. It's really, really bad. So, no, Goethe is also in there. And, like, as much as I probably will have to break my principle, because I probably will have to read from him again for school, in my heart, he's in there. And maybe I just, won't read the book, because it's really, really bad. Another person, like, that one is also well known, and that is Matt Haig. He's in my author jail permanently, and the crime he committed was The Humans. Really dislike The Humans. And coincidentally, it's also a book I read for school, this time for English class. Couldn't stand that one. I thought it wasn't funny. I thought the observations on human life were so surface level. Like, everybody knows that. Like, use your brain. I thought it was like really creepy how this alien guy, like, my god, I'm the way better father. Like, obviously he's a deadbeat dad, and I hate deadbeat dads. But I also think he's weird how like it's so like portrayed as so good that just this alien like just kills him and then inserts himself into his life, and like that's great now. Like, what? Like, how? I hated that book. No, he's a permanent stay. Won't read anything else by him. I heard horrible things about the Midnight Library, and I think that book has something to do with self-exit, and I have Like self-acceptance is a topic that gets me very much because like yeah, and I don't like bad portrayals of it, so I think he won't get out of author jail anytime soon. I am if I ever like study English on like a even more professional level, I'll probably have to read some of this because like I heard that it's like in literature programs. Like why? Like why are you putting this guy in there? But yeah, also my author trail. That was probably like really incoherent, and there's probably people that I'm totally forgetting that are also my author trail. But like maybe I'm gonna put them in a post. Maybe I'm gonna do like a pinned comment. Maybe I'm just gonna do a follow up video, or you're just not gonna hear about them. Anyway, like please, if you have any like thoughts on these people that are my author trail, if you have your own author trail or just like won't read from any authors, then don't hesitate to put them in the comments and like this video and subscribe and anything. I always love if anyone interacts with these videos. I absolutely love my audience. And yeah, I hope I see you in that video. Bye.